For the Alabama gymnastics team, things have been rosy against the Auburn Tigers. In the spotlight again tonight, the Tide hope to continue their dominance. Sparks are sure to fly in Tuscaloosa. It is a rainy evening in Tuscaloosa, Alabama, but even with tornado warnings in the area, it hasn't kept what is expected to be a sold-out crowd away from Coleman Coliseum for one of the biggest in-state rivalries in all of college sports, as tonight the 5th-ranked Auburn Tigers take on the 11th-ranked Alabama Crimson Tide. Burning up there with you inside Coleman Coliseum, where Sarah Patterson's squad, 4-time NCAA champions, are hosting Jeff Thompson and the Auburn Tigers. He was the SEC co-coach of the year. And with more, here's Lori Strong-Ballard.
Bernie, Alabama and Auburn have met 105 times. In 96 of those, Auburn has lost. In fact, the last time they won was way back in March of 1979, which just happens to be when Auburn head coach Jeff Thompson was a senior in high school. And he says it's time for a change.
96 times Auburn and Alabama have faced in gymnastics, and 96 times Alabama has won. It was really heartbreaking back in January when Lindsey Puckett nails her floor routine and she nails her last pass, and we were like, yeah, we finally did it. And then they handed me the score sheet and I was like, you gotta be kidding me, 25 thousandths of a point? And that's the closest it's been in that time period. You know, it would be special, just really special for these girls to be able to do something that hasn't been done in 30 years.
Auburn is currently ranked 5th in the nation. They are having their best season ever. And head coach Jeff Thompson told us 10 years ago when he got this job, it was in part from a recommendation from Sarah Patterson, the head coach at Alabama, who said that if Auburn eventually wanted to beat the Tide, this was the man for the job. But tonight, Coach Patterson says this will be one tough fight.
There's nothing better than having two very competitive programs, and I think we make each other better. In our first meet of the season, it was narrowly decided by .025 of a point, but I think both teams excelled, and when the meet was over, I think everyone felt like they had won.
Consistency will be key tonight, and the great news for Auburn is their senior class has been almost dead on. They've hit 63 out of 64 routines this year. They are led by Lindsey Puckett, who's currently ranked 5th in the all-around in the nation. And the Tide will be leaning heavily on their consistency from junior Ricky Levergern, who has competed in the all-around every meet this year and has scored no less than a 39 every time out. Over 12,000 fans will be here, Bernie. It will be electric, and the Tide want win number 97.
Well, the crowd is already getting excited about this dual meet. When we come back, it'll be Alabama on vault and Auburn on bars. Two highly ranked teams go at it from Tuscaloosa when we come back. It is the Tide and the Tigers battling in Tuscaloosa, Alabama. Sarah and Dave Patterson, 5 times they've won the SEC title, and they're coming off a season high 49-4 on the vault.
We have a big vaulting team in terms of their vaults are huge, they're far away from the horse, and I think the judges have rewarded us for that. And in last meet we were much more consistent with our landings, and I think when you add those two things together, you can post high scores on vaulting.
And Kayla Hoffman's been out of this lineup for most of the year as she recovers fully from a shoulder surgery in the fall. She's back in for the 2nd time this year, and Sarah said they are a much stronger vaulting team with her, and this could become their best event.
Up first, the freshman for Alabama, Geraldine Stack-Eden.
Looks like a full, oh, beautiful. Big start-off vault for the Tide here. This vault is scored out of a perfect 10. She has nice height and distance, and we heard Coach Sarah Patterson talking about how strong and how powerful this vaulting team is. And again, once again, great landing.
What a start, 9.9. As for Auburn and the Tigers, they're getting set to battle on the bars, and they're the 11th ranked team in the country on this apparatus.
This is Auburn's most improved event this year. Carmen Nelms is in the lineup for the first time since the start of the season. She replaces Chrissy Voss, who had a very scary crash in warm-up today. They will have to mentally rebound from that situation.
And Kendall Swartz, the freshman from Tallahassee, Region 8 bars champion in 2004, will lead things off.
Kendall has very beautiful long lines and an excellent toe point. Shows off nicely in this routine. Handstand half pirouette, pack salto to the low bar. The gymnast must show two bar transitions. She met that requirement. Back up to the high bar, a little short on that cast a handstand. A little bit muscled in her stalder. The final skill before the dismount nails the toe on front half.
Swartz has already won 2 bars crowns this season as a freshman.
This is called a pack salto. It's basically a back flip from the high bar to the low bar. Precision and timing are very important to be able to re-grasp in control on that low bar.
And a 9.725 for Kendall Swartz. Here's Kayla Hoffman. Made her debut last week against Florida after battling injuries all season long. An All-American on the vault as a freshman.
She won the vault 7 times last year with a career high of a 9.975. Excellent job. Look at the distance she gets from that vaulting table. She lands way down the other end of the mat. She has pretty good technique on this. Take a look. As she explodes from the vaulting table, you see a distinct straight body line, and then she creates the twist. That helps her get the height and distance and keeps her square on the landing mat.
And another fantastic score, 9.9 for Kayla Hoffman. More rotation 1 when we come back. It is Link to Pink night here in Tuscaloosa, Alabama, as the Tigers battle the Crimson Tide in Coleman Coliseum. And up next, for Auburn, Lindsey Puckett. She is having a phenomenal senior season, and she's garnered 17 individual titles so far.
Every year I've seen her confidence build, and with that, her gymnastics has gotten better and better. Combination of skills here, giant full, giant half. She'll head down to the low bar, shoot to handstand. Judges are looking for those vertical positions in all of the handstands. So far, this routine is very clean, but she doesn't have one of those major release moves, and that means that she probably will have a difficult time breaking into those 9.9 scores, even with a nailed dismount like that. She got the job done. This is a consistent routine that Lindsey knows she can hit every time out. And that's a great feeling for the team to know that this is a sure thing. Beautiful job nailing the dismount, a little leg separation in the air.
And a score of a 9.825. And on the vault, Morgan Dennis from Alabama.
One of the most powerful vaulters in the country right now. She's ranked 8th. Uchenko full again, a huge distance. Look how far down the mat she's landing. Beautiful height, nice and explosive from the vaulting table. Legs are glued together. The one deduction I would take here is maybe a slight pike down right before the landing.
And not much of a deduction at all there, 9.950 for Morgan Dennis.
Great score for Alabama on the vault. This is a season best, about 0.3 higher than what they've been averaging. Nice start by Stack Eaton, a season high 9.9, and a finish with a 9.95.
Auburn's A.J. Mills up next. She's had a ton of confidence her senior season.
I guess it's kind of been building since my freshman year, because I was relatively inconsistent my freshman year, built more confidence my sophomore year, and especially with the repetition we do in practice, putting yourself in the mental state that you need to be in when you compete. Just all our rehearsal, we're prepared. Each day is just like another day at McWhorter.
AJ has stepped into a leadership role this year. Last year, Auburn graduated one of their best all-time athletes, Julie Dwyer. She was the star of this team. And head coach Jeff Thompson told me this year, he said there was an opportunity for several athletes to step up into that position, and both AJ Mills and Lindsey Puckett stepped into that leadership role. Excellent bar routine from start to finish. Nice landing as well on the double layout. Now she does have one of those major release elements. It's called a piked Jaeger, and this is an E-level skill right here. Little separation as she releases, but she does a nice job of taking it nice and high above the bar. She directly connects that to a shoot over, slightly bent elbows as she catches the bars on the shoot over.
A.J. Mills a score of 9.850, so Auburn a 48.85 on the bars.
6 hits for Auburn. That is great under this kind of pressure, especially since they had a little bit of a scary spill in warm-up. A few tenths were given away with missed handstands and steps on landings as well.
Jeff Thompson getting the Tigers set. They will be moving towards the vault, while the Crimson Tide, who lead after rotation number 1, will head to the bars. Auburn, Alabama from Tuscaloosa, SEC Gymnastics tonight. And Auburn up next on the vault. They're 12th in the NCAA. And their RQS right now 49.055.
And to keep things close here, they need to rock their landings and be clean, because they will be directly compared to Alabama's big explosive vaults that we just saw. Lindsey Puckett is their anchor and top scorer with a season high of 9.95.
Here's Katie Hurley, Auburn Freshman of the Year a season ago. She's a 3-time regional vault champion.
Doing Yurchenko half front loud, and she's in trouble. You can see right off the vaulting table, she simply doesn't get a strong block. It is low and flat, and it doesn't give her enough time to finish a half turn and a forward rotation in the laid out position. 5/10 deduction there, big miss for Auburn. Now, half of Auburn's vaults have this blind landing where they don't see the landing before the feet hit, and that is tough to nail.
Not a good score, 9.225 for Alabama. Cassie Price out with a broken finger, but the good news is Kayla Hoffman's back in the lineup.
Well, Cassie broke a finger last week. In practice, you could see the cast there on her hand. That is a big loss for them. But you're right, Kayla Hoffman's back in the lineup for the first time this year. We mentioned her having shoulder surgery in the fall, but she looks great tonight. We saw her with a 9.9 on vault already.
And here she is, the 2-time member of the United States national team, Kayla Hoffman.
Has a nice look on this event. Great form and lines. And it's great to see her back on bars after shoulder surgery. I mean, this would be the most difficult event to get back. Opening with a Tkachev. Very aggressively turning that over. Giant full. Shoot over to handstand. A little bit of a leg cross on that bail to handstand. Hitting the last handstand, you can see her teammates, hear her teammates cheering her on the sides. They want this dismount. She nails it. Great comeback.
Another brilliant routine by the sophomore.
Maybe a 10th deduction on that final handstand. She was a little bit archy. And just a few minor details that she'll need to clean up throughout the rest of the season. The little leg crosses.
And another 9.9 the second, posted by Kayla Hoffman tonight. And here's A.J. Mills. She's hit all 32 of her routines this season.
Yurchenko full, takes a big step out on the landing. Auburn really needed to rock these landings, but as we saw earlier, they've already suffered a fall, and sometimes when that happens, you start to get a little bit conservative, and now you just want to be on your feet, maybe not nail the landing. You can see she slightly piked down there. That increases the rotation, and she had to take the step.
The score 9.825. It's been the season Jeff Thompson has been looking for the 5th-ranked Auburn Tigers, but not the start he's been looking for here in Tuscaloosa. His team will try to clean things up when we come back. You can't beat the good old-fashioned fun on the capstone, and they're having a great time here as 11th-ranked Alabama really starting to hit their stride here late in the season as they're finally starting to get healthy, Lori.
Yeah, and Morgan had some great all-around performances at the start of the year, and then she hurt her ankle, and they had to rest her some. And last week she was shaky in the all-around, but tonight she's already having a fantastic meet. Beautiful piked Jaeger, pass to handstand, shoot over to handstand on the low bar. A little bit of a leg separation on that cast, but we have to remember the judges are sitting at the side. They may not see that. They're looking for the vertical position, and she nails her dismount. Great routine. It seems like everything Morgan does is huge. She's known for her power on floor and vault, but take a look at this pike Jaeger. It is way above the bar. That's the way you want to do it. And this dismount, again, way above the bar, and she knows exactly when to open it up for a blind, stuck landing.
Wow, what a score, 9.925 for Morgan Dennis. That is what they're looking for on the bars. And here is Lindsey Puckett. She has 4 outright titles on the vault.
She's currently ranked 6th in the country. Doing the Yurchenko full, big step out on the landing. Another big deduction for Auburn there. It's usually a great event for Lindsey, but she told us earlier this year that she struggled with over-twisting this vault. You can see it's a full twist there. Jeff Thompson had to work with her a little bit in practice to tweak her technique and to help her mentally deal with those struggles. Tonight, the big step on the landing, but the vault itself was strong and powerful.
Her score 9.85, the team 49.15.
And Lindsay Puckett most definitely had the most explosive vault today, and a few tenths were given away on steps.
Up next, freshman Ashley Priest. She qualified for the 08 Olympic trials, but came to a big decision on the trial stage.
I'd been training for 8 years for kind of that moment, and I mean, it was always a goal of mine to shoot for the Olympics, but it was also another big goal of mine to do college gymnastics. And faced with an injury that I probably could have pushed through, but it probably would have definitely lessened my chances for competing in college or ruined them altogether. And it was kind of a decision I had to make, which one was worth it to me. And I just decided that really college gymnastics had been something I've been striving for ever since I was a young girl, and I did not want to let it slip away.
And she told us so far this season it has been all that she imagined. Starting the routine off in a toe-on full, right into a Tkachev and an out-bar Tkachev, immediately connected to a pack salto. She started the year off very strong. Oh, a little mistake right there. Missing her handstand pirouette. She covers with a switch kick. Will be deducted a little bit for a break in rhythm. As I was mentioning at the beginning of the season, the first 2 weeks, she won Freshman of the Week. That's a new award this year. There's her dismount, a double layout, struggling a little bit to find the landing on the dismount. Now, this is a different routine than the one that she's been competing for several years at the elite level. There's actually less difficulty in it, but sometimes it takes a while for the athletes to adjust to these new routines in terms of how hard to go for the dismount or if you need to hold back a little bit. So the timing and rhythm will come with more chances to compete.
Alabama 49.325 on the bars.
And this is a season high for Alabama. What a great start. First 2 rotations both had season highs, but now they head to the beam where they have struggled in the last 2 weeks.
At the halfway point, Alabama increases their lead over 5th-ranked Auburn. We'll have rotation 3 when we come back. A sold-out crowd at Coleman Coliseum, and man, they always enjoy beating Auburn, don't they?
Well, from a very young age, they learned that's the tradition here.
Alabama up next on the beam, and they're the 3rd-ranked team in the country on this apparatus.
And it has been a great event for them, except for the last 2 meets when they've had to counter fall. They'll be fighting those demons and hope to be more consistent and confident today.
Up first for the Crimson Tide, Geraldine Stack Eden, 23rd in the NCAA on this apparatus.
Now, so far, Alabama's had 2 routines that went 9-8 or higher, but they've also had a fall. And that adds pressure to the rest of the team. Switch leap Sisson. Concentrating in her tumble series, back handspring layout. Solidly finds the lunge position. Slight pause into her sheet jump, but then adds a changement, trying to get combination or connection bonus there. The athletes are looking for 5/10 in difficulty and connection bonus in order to get that 10-0 start value. An excellent skill. It's called an Anodi, very risky and difficult. As well as original. You don't often see that skill at the collegiate level. Good focus throughout the routine. The rhythm was a little bit slow throughout the routine, but a solid hit. This is a look at the Anodi. It's risky because it starts with a half turn. You could so easily come out of line on this 4-inch wide beam. It's named after Henrietta Anodi, who is a Hungarian gymnast at the elite level, at the Olympic level, and such an innovator in the sport.
And a 9.875 for Geraldine Stack Eden. She was 5th on the balance beam at the 2007 USA Championships. Rochelle Thompson, the associate head coach, SEC all-around champion in 1991, getting her team set for the floor.
And Auburn's ranked 4th in the country on the floor. This is their best event, and they're usually very well prepared, polished, and consistent. They need to be near perfect today to try to make up some ground on Alabama, who have been so hot today.
Here is Chrissy Voss, who will lead things off, the junior from Paradise Valley, Arizona.
And this is the athlete who crashed in warm-up on bars. They took her out of that lineup, but she did a great job on vault for them. Now she has to keep things rolling here on the floor. Opening pass, front step out, round handspring, double back, great landing. Twisting, leaps, and jumps, so important to have them fully completed if the athlete needs to get credit for it. Combination middle pass, whip half, front layout, front pike. Another strong landing. With the SEC Championships just a few weeks away, this is the time of the season where the athletes really want to start adding that extra polish to the routines. They should have the endurance, the skills should be there. Now they are looking for those perfectly clean landings, the extra showmanship, the smiles, the presentation that we want to see in the routines as well.
And Auburn looks like they're a team that may surprise some people in Nashville in a couple weeks.
Possibly. They are having a fantastic year. They came into this meet 5th in the country. They are ranked higher than Alabama for the first time ever heading into a dual meet with them. 3 great, solid tumbling passes. Very good job in all of the landings. You can see the discipline there.
Auburn certainly has their work cut out for them. They were 3/4 of a point behind Alabama starting this rotation.
And that will be a tough lead to overcome. This is a look at Chrissy's final tumbling pass, a double pike. Again, a great confident landing with a big smile. And the score on 9.85. You know, it was interesting to talk to this team before this event. They somewhat downplayed the importance of getting this win and how successful they've been this year. For them, it's just taking one routine at a time. This is one more learning experience before the SEC Championships. And it really is important for them to get a good road score to help boost up their RQS, their regional qualifying score.
This is Morgan Dennis, SEC balance beam champion. Right now she's running away with the all-around.
So far she has a 9.925 and a 9.95. Outstanding night. Alabama does have one fall so far on the beam, so they need a hit. There's a required element, a full turn. And aerial, not a single wobble so far in this routine. Excellent. Gymnasts are also required to do a skill or something down low on the balance beam, trying to show variety throughout the routine. Straddle jump, looking for that 180-degree split in those leaps and jumps. So far, she looks very calm, very focused. Walking out to over 12,000 fans cheering her on. Double back dismount, just a tiny hop on the landing. Great routine. This is one of the most difficult dismounts the athletes are doing at the collegiate level. It's a round off into a double back. She will get difficulty bonus points to go towards that 10-0 start value there.
What a night for Morgan Dennis, 9.875. She is well on her way to winning the all-around. We'll have more rotation 3 after this. Back at Tuscaloosa, Auburn taking on Alabama alongside Lori Strong-Ballard. Bernie Guthrie, pleasure having you with us. And A.J. Mills up next for Auburn. She has won 2 individual titles on the floor so far this season.
And right now she's ranked 8th in the country in the all-around, having a great year. Tonight she's getting some tough competition in the all-around from Morgan Dennis from Alabama. One tuck, step out, round back handspring, double pike. Nice height and power. Alabama and Auburn already met once this season, the first meet of the season. And Auburn lost that meet by a mere .025, the smallest of margins in this sport. And at that meet, though, A.J. Mills won the all-around and this event on floor with a 9.9 that night. Second tumbling pass, it's a forward one. Front layout to front full, a little flat on the full. She had to fight to save that landing. These double salto passes that are directly connected like that are all about timing and technique. And if you come in at the wrong angle, it can throw off your second element. Showing off some great personality in this routine. It's always very fun to watch her on this event. That's something that Auburn takes great pride in, really pulling out that presentation. 1.5 front layout, a little bit sloppy in the legs in the 1.5 twist. It's another hit for Auburn, maybe just a little sloppy in that second and third tumbling pass.
But what a year it has been for A.J. Mills in her final campaign.
Here's a look at that second tumbling pass. The timing was off just slightly. You can see that she's flat-footed coming out of the front layout, twists early into the full twist. That causes a direction problem on the landing.
And a score 9.825 for A.J. Mills. And here's Ashley Priest, 4 times this season. She scored a 9.875.
Very aggressive so far in this routine. A switch leap to a straddle jump. Great position in the air on those leaps and jumps. Aerial. Immediately into a back handspring swing down. That is her tumble series. Most often we see the athletes do 2 backward tumbling skills connected. She goes forward and then backward. It's very important for her to keep that rhythm and the smoothness between the 2 elements to get the connection. Fired element, a full turn, and she adds more difficulty to that by doing it with the leg at horizontal. Full twisting swing down, excellent. Risky, very difficult skill that we more often see at the elite level. Again, we're seeing some of that elite style gymnastics that she's known for. And I absolutely love how aggressive she's been throughout this routine, nailing the switch leap into a gainer full dismount. Great confidence.
Priest showing you why she finished 10th at the World Championships in the all-around.
This is one of those skills that takes your breath away if you are not prepared for it. The first time you do it, it takes tremendous guts. Quite often they train landing on a padded surface that is draped over the beam, and you can see why. It is tough on the body.
And a score of a 9.9 for the freshman from Wheaton, Illinois. And Alabama, what a score.
One fall, that'll be the throwaway score. The average is over a 9.8. I think they'll be pleased with this, especially after a rocky couple weeks on beam.
And for Auburn, up next, Lindsey Puckett. Her senior class has hit 63 out of the 64 routines they've attempted.
It was just overall really exciting. You know, we started off at UIC and had a great score there, and we just kind of kept the ball rolling, you know, just really working on being consistent and doing the same thing that we do in the gym at meets and really training for that pressure situation. And, you know, we're going out and doing our job at the meet, so it's really awesome.
And the Tigers have gotten some big wins, especially in SEC competition. They beat LSU, they beat Arkansas, and they narrowly missed beating Florida at Florida.
It's great to see how much this team has improved over the last couple years. They've improved on their gymnastics. They've increased their difficulty a little bit, and they've been working hard in the gym to improve their consistency, and now it is paying off in competition. We're seeing a much more confident Auburn team. Opening with a front tuck, step out, round hook handspring, double back. Now today, Auburn has had 1 fall on floor so far. And to me, they've looked a little bit tired, and that quite often can happen in such a high intensity environment, especially by that 3rd and 4th event. I've seen them struggle just a little bit on the timing of some of their skills and the landings. And for Lindsey, she's been on a roll lately. The last 2 meets, she scored 9.925 on floor. Second tumbling pass is solid. A whip half to a Rudy. That's a 1.5 twist. Her energy level looks pretty good.
But her and A.J. Mills just having a brilliant senior campaign.
Final tumbling pass. This is the tough one in terms of endurance. You got to go all out. Hits the landing. Beautiful big lunge and a smile.
3rd consecutive brilliant performance on the floor for Lindsey Puckett of Auburn.
On floor, they are required to do 1 tumbling pass with 2 salto skills in it. There's the first one, a whip half. The second one is a 1.5. We call it a Rudy. She gets combination or connection bonus for that pass. And the last tumbling pass, great speed and distance, stretching out that round off back handspring that gives her the power into the double pike.
And a 9-9 the score for Lindsey Puckett. And Auburn, a 49-125 on the floor.
And no counting fall, that low 9.275 will be dropped. It was a strong showing, but I still think they looked a little fatigued. A few of the passes just squeaked by. And to beat Alabama today, any team in the country would almost need to be perfect.
One more rotation to go. Alabama will take the floor when we come back. Back inside Coleman Coliseum, the fourth and final rotation between the Tigers and the Crimson Tide. Jeff Thompson watching his squad get prepared as they will be on the beam for this fourth rotation.
And leading them off is Lauren Brustowski, a last-minute replacement for Rachel Innes. Sometimes coaches need to make changes depending upon how an athlete is feeling and how they warmed up that day. And sometimes it's obvious. Other times it's just a gut feeling by the coach. They can actually change the athlete up until the time they salute the judge.
And here is Lauren Brustowski, the sophomore from York, Pennsylvania. What a moment for her to compete in Tuscaloosa, Alabama.
This could be a little bit of a risky decision, putting her in. Going for the series, two back handsprings to a layout, solid as can be. She's been suffering with illness over the last several weeks, 3 weeks in fact, and the doctors have only allowed her limited training time. Doesn't look to be a problem so far. She hit that crucial tumble series. Saddle jump, back tuck, another solid connection. Full turn is clean, no deduction for a wobble there. Endurance could be a factor heading into the dismount here. No problem, round off 1.5 twists, almost nails the landing. What a great routine for her under tough circumstances. She has not been able to train as much as she would like to coming into this competition. And at the last moment, she was put in not only to compete on beam away against Alabama, but first up.
And she comes up with a big score, a 9.850. 1, 2, 3. And Alabama's had 3 great rotations. Can they get a fourth right here on the floor?
Well, they are anchored by Morgan Dennis, the 2007 national champion on floor. She is a huge tumbler. They will definitely feed off of this home crowd and their energy. And with a pretty solid lead, they can relax a little and enjoy the performance.
Ashley O'Neill up first, the senior from Kennesaw, Georgia. She scored a career-high 9.85 on the floor exercise at the Super 6 as a freshman.
Front to a double back, does a good job of keeping it in bounds. This is the only event that Ashley's competed all year, and her only event tonight. She's had to sit on the sidelines and cheer on her teammates. Sometimes that can be tough to do. You get a little bit cold, and you've got to get in the zone when it counts. Important to choose music that not only complements the style of the athlete, but something that the coaches and the choreographer feels that the crowd can get into as well. Anytime that you can really involve them, it just makes the experience that much better for the athlete, and that will bring out their best performance. Bit of a rough transition from the choreography to the tumbling. See, she's putting a little extra concentration in before that final tumbling pass. A double pike, 3 passes on her feet. Pretty good job.
The senior enjoying one of her final routines inside Coleman Coliseum.
On this opening pass, it's important to get just the right amount of rotation on that front. If you over-rotate it, you're going to crunch your round off, and that is going to take away some of your power. And if you under-rotate it, you're going to be too slow coming into the combination of skills out of it.
And Alabama starts off with a 9.825. And here we see A.J. Mills, the senior for the Auburn Tigers, 8th in the nation in the all-around.
Having a great all-around competition tonight. Don't Don't underestimate how difficult it is to compete on beam in this arena. Close to 15 or 16,000 fans here. And of course the Tide are on the floor, so it is very noisy in this arena. Tumbling pass, two back handsprings layout. AJ is dead on. Switch leap, straddle jump. Important to stay internally focused on this event. Take one skill at a time. For each one, think of those cues, the cues your teammates and your coaches have been giving you in the gym. The dismount, gainer, back handspring, into a gainer full, nails the landing. A super fantastic job. This is the tumble series. 3 skills directly connected. By doing so many in the gym, you learn how to, if one skill is off, to correct it without overcorrecting it and throwing your timing and rhythm off.
And a great score of 9.9 for AJ Mills. Up next for Alabama, the junior Ricky Lebergern, who has really enjoyed performing in front of this crowd at Coleman Coliseum.
Coming in as a freshman, I mean, I was one of the ones that looked out there and looked at the crowd, and I was like, wow, this is like 10 times more people than have ever come to meet for me. And I just kind of got nervous, and ever since then, I built my confidence up, and I can, I look at the freshmen, and I can see when their first meet, that was kind of me my freshman year. So I've learned to be more confident. The more confident I am, I go out and hit the skills. I mean, it's something, a lot of the skills I've done for 10 or more years now, and it's just become consistent. And going in the gym, I kind of practice as if it's a competition. So when I'm in practice, I'm doing what I'm doing. Come competition time, that it's just automatic and it's just switch.
Don't underestimate what she brings this team in terms of her stability and consistency. She is their highest ranked all-arounder, ranked 14th in the country. Once again tonight, she's been in that 9.85, 9.8 range across every event. Opening tumbling pass. 2.5 twists, a little unstable on the landing. And she's been slightly overshadowed by some great performances by her teammates like Morgan Dennis, Kayla Hoffman, who's been back in some of the lineups after being out with shoulder surgery, and Ashley Priest has been very strong tonight as well. Got full front layout, much better, a little bit cleaner on the landing.
Malloy, this is an SEC champion. She won SEC vault and balance beam last year as a sophomore, the balance beam as a freshman.
Again, that shows you what kind of a consistent athlete she is. She's very strong on beam, and that's definitely an event that requires that stability and consistency. Intensity and focus heading into that last tumbling pass. Very strong double pike. Now she can really play up to the crowd and have some fun, finishing up the routine very nicely. Tumbling was pretty strong, a little bit unstable on that opening pass. It's a 2.5 twist. She gets great height, and you can see here she flares open her arms, trying to control the landing. Big hop out on the landing, probably a 10th or a 10th and a half deduction.
A score of 9.8 for Ricky Lebergern. On the floor for the Alabama Crimson Tide. The final routines when we come back to Coleman Coliseum. SEC Gymnastics from Coleman Coliseum, Auburn, Alabama, 5th ranked Auburn, and the 11th ranked Crimson Tide. And the Tide showing one of their best performances so far of the season tonight.
They have been absolutely hot. And again, we have to mention some of their key athletes are now back in their lineups, and I think that boosts their confidence as well as their scoring potential.
This is Ashley Priest on the floor. Alabama came into this 4th and final rotation with almost a full point lead over the Auburn Tigers, who are having a tremendous season. But Alabama, what a showcase.
Second tumbling pass for Ashley Priest. 1.5 to a front layout. love her choreography. It's artistic, a little abstract and fun at the same time. She shows off her style and her showmanship. Change of music here. This keeps things a little bit interesting. A nice tuck double full. Athletes can get bonus points through difficulty not only in their tumbling but their dance elements as well, like those leaps and jumps. And a deep breath before that final tumbling pass. It's a crucial one. Always difficult. At the end of a 1.5-minute routine, a double pike, a D-level skill. Well done. Great full package here in this routine.
Nothing like a chest bump from your teammate.
Oh, she looks like she's having a blast out there. And her choreography was very unique. A lot of interesting skills like this one. It was fun to watch, and it's great for a choreographer when you have a freshman who has this kind of talent in terms of dance ability. And the final tumbling pass, a double pike, that's a D-level skill, very difficult at this level to have that endurance and the energy to put that skill on your feet at the end of a routine.
And a brand new career high, 9.925 for Ashley Priest of Alabama. And here is Lindsey Puckett. She's scored a 9.975 at one point in her career on the beam.
Auburn has 5 hits, and that's already relief on the balance beam. But at this point, it's pretty much impossible to beat Alabama. But Auburn still wants a strong road score here. We mentioned it earlier. Will help boost their RQS. That's their regional qualifying score. Handspring layout, solid. Lifts her head up nicely, showing confidence before this leap series. That's just a little extra pizzazz to the routine. Final jump, back tuck, solid. Trying to dance and work high in releve up on her toe. That will lengthen her line. That's what really makes a good beam worker stand out. And the dismount, it's a tough one. Oh! What a tough break. A great routine up until the dismount. One of the most difficult in this competition. It's a double back, and she ran out of steam possibly here. The other problem could be that when you have a great routine going, you are really getting after the stuck landing. You want to maximize your score. She underestimated her power and rotation and came in short.
9.350 the score for Lindsey Puckett. So for the Auburn Tigers, it wasn't the dual meet they envisioned when they embarked to Tuscaloosa as the 5th-ranked team.
And on beam, they're able to drop that 9.35, so 49 plus on beam. That's a pretty good score. They didn't have to count a fall all night. That's great news for the Auburn Tigers. But tonight, to beat Alabama, they needed to be almost perfect.
And we finished things up with the 2007 NCAA floor champion, Morgan Dennis. And it appears she will win the all-around tonight.
Barring any catastrophe or major mistake here, that all-around title should be hers. And Alabama is well on their way to possibly getting a season-high team score here. Opening pass, it's impressive, a double layout. Just a tiny stumble into the lunge position. This is an exciting job for Morgan Dennis. She is usually the closer on the floor. The last event at home meets for Alabama. I talked to her before about this job. She said she enjoys the challenge and the excitement of having to, her performance quite often decide whether or not they win or lose the meet. But tonight, with the pressure off, she can really let loose and have fun. Tertiary half into a split full. Laying up to the music, a very powerful drum beat. Works well with her body type and her style. You saw her power in that opening tumbling pass. She has 3 tumbling passes with double saltos, including this last one. A double back. Well done.
What a way for Alabama to conclude a terrific meet at home against Auburn.
They fall in the middle of this lineup. Could have taken the steam out of this Alabama team, but they came back with huge scores from both Priest and a huge score, I'm sure, to come from Morgan Dennis here, opening with that double layout. Very impressive E-level skill, and finishes with a sky-high double back.
And a score of 9.975 for Morgan Dennis. And what a night it was for Alabama. They have a season high as a team on the floor, 49.325. So a season high on the vault, a season high on the bars, a season high on the floor, gives them a season high overall, 197.35, as they get a victory over 5th ranked Auburn. Lori Strong-Ballard is with our winners.
Well, Coach, Auburn was hoping to beat your streak of 96 wins, but not tonight. You guys had some great performances out there. What were you most impressed with?
Well, I think, first of all, our team's work over the last week. You know, it was tough having those couple of losses, and we just came back together, though, and I just felt like if the ladies had as much faith in themselves as we did, that they would do great tonight. And I think once we got off to a great start, I think they started to feel that faith, and that's what it takes. It was teamwork, the best we could do tonight.
Well, it paid off. And Morgan Dennis, what a night for you. I know you've been dealing with some ankle injuries. How good does it feel to be back on top again and do so well in the all-around?
It feels awesome. Those 2 weeks I was out, I was just like, I couldn't wait to get back into the lineup. And so I just rehabbed, ice, taped up as much as I could for those 2 weeks. I strengthened it, and it's feeling a lot better now, so I'm ready to compete again.
And almost a perfect 10 on that final event tonight, Floor. Outstanding job there. Could you feel the anticipation of this crowd, the fans, the excitement they had before that final pass?
Yeah, I mean, I felt it the entire night. I was telling Kayla, she's in front of me when we line up and go out. I was telling her, I was like, they're so awesome tonight. The crowd is totally behind us. And I definitely felt it throughout every routine I did, all of our routines. It was so awesome how we can just inspire all of these people.
Well, congratulations on a season high, and good luck with SECs just a few weeks away.
Thank you.
What a win for the 11th ranked Alabama Crimson Tide as they defeat the 5th ranked Auburn Tigers with a season high 197.35 as both teams get set for the SEC championships in Nashville. That's where we'll see you next. For Lori Strong-Ballard, I'm Bernie Gunther saying good night from Tuscaloosa.